All right, so I'm in South Africa right now, and it's the full moon. The moon is blasting behind me, and right now I want to show you how to turn this 200 to 600 into, I think, around a 5,000, 6,000 millimeter. I did a video a few years ago transforming a 2,000 millimeter into a 16,000. I want to try to do kind of the same thing, but with a much better quality lens. And to give you an idea of what the weather was like, here is the sky. It was super cloudy, so I had to catch the moon in between the clouds. So here is me on the right, just to show you what kind of setup I had. And here's the moon at 200 millimeter. And it is very small, as you can see. I shot this in 4K, like I said, to show you afterwards how much I can zoom in and get as close as possible to the moon. And like I said, this tripod was terrible. It was really, really hard. And this is what it looks like at 600 millimeter. So I'm already much closer to it. I want to make sure that I focus manually on the moon. And right now it looks decently sharp. So I stopped the recording and used the 1.5 APS-C crop mode on the A7R III. So this is the equivalent of a 900 millimeter. And the moon is still very sharp because I'm using the APS-C crop, which doesn't affect the quality that much. And here's what it looks like when I pinch in with the digital zoom, and still pretty sharp. I'm very impressed with the digital zoom from Sony. So this is the equivalent of a 1,350 millimeter lens, and it's still super sharp. I'm really happy with it. But let's go further and let's zoom in. This is a 200% digital crop from the 4K. And the moon looks amazing. If you look at the details, it still looks super sharp. I've added some sharpness to it in post, but that's pretty much it. I haven't done that much more to it, and it looks quite amazing. It's the equivalent to a 2,700 millimeter. And here we have the 5,400 millimeter equivalent that we've all been waiting for, and let's have a look at it. So what I'm doing here is I'm exporting the video in 1080p, so in full HD, so I can crop in my 4K 4 times. And that's what I'm doing here to get the equivalent of 5,400 millimeter lens. And obviously it doesn't look as good because we're cropped in so much, but we can still see a lot of details in the craters. And I still think this is usable, and it is fun nonetheless. But I'll let you be the judge. Let me know if you think the last shot is usable and or if it's not. And make sure you look at the moon's calendar to know when the moon is the closest to the Earth. The moon can be up to 30% bigger depending on the time of the month. And here there are side by side 200 millimeter, 600 millimeter, 900 millimeter, and 1,350 millimeter. So this is how you turn a 600 millimeter into a 5,400 millimeter lens. And I know it doesn't look perfect, but I think it's really cool. The moon is really hard to shoot because, first of all, the clouds were going in front of it, and I had a really crappy tripod for it. If you want to shoot the moon, you really need to get a video tripod with a fluid head so you can track the moon easily. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. The quality of this lens is much better. A few years ago, I did a video that got really popular when I turned a 2,000 millimeter lens into a 16,000 millimeter lens, and of course, the quality looked. A lot of people told me to just buy the Nikon P1000 or P900 because it had a 2,000 millimeter zoom lens, and obviously that's one choice, but it's expensive. It's an expensive camera. I think it's around $1,000, and I didn't have any use for it, so just using my friend's 600 millimeter, and you really can do crazy shots when you're using the digital zoom, 4K, and also the 1.5 crop. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider subscribing, hit the bell button if you want to get notification, and hit the like button, and let me know in the comments below what you think, if you like the footage, if you think it was just silly, and yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.